Hello, my name is Michelle and it's my pleasure to welcome you to McDougall Cottage. McDougall Cottage is located in the Galt part of Cambridge, and for over 100 years it was exclusively the home of working class Scots. Two different families lived here, the McDougalls and the Bairds.
My name is Patricia Baird Lawrence. I am the great niece of James, who owned this house from 1901 to 1967, and John, who's normally named Jack, who was the painter of the paintings in this house.
One of the most spectacular features of the cottage are the hand-painted ceilings and friezes that adorn the two main rooms. These paintings were created in 1906-1907 by John Baird, also known as Jack, who was the older brother of the cottage's second owner, James Baird. They are unusual in the fact that you wouldn't normally find paintings like this in a working class home. They would more likely be found in the home of somebody who is quite well off. They are painted in the style known as trompe-l'oeil, which is a French term that means to trick or fool the eye, and so you can see that they have a three-dimensional effect. Over the years, we had heard from members of the Baird family that these weren't the only paintings in these two rooms, and that there were additional murals painted on the walls that had been painted over time.
I'm the only one left of the family who really remember seeing them when I was young, because most of my cousins are younger than me. They had bookcases on both sides of at the bottom, and they were done so real you wanted to go and grab the book, but realized it was painting you couldn't use there. Uncle Jim used to tell me all about the pictures through here, and I can't remember what was in this room. It's just blanked out, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what is underneath it. We're just very excited about it.
After hearing anecdotal accounts of these hidden murals, we decided to investigate to see if they did indeed exist and to see whether or not they could be revealed. Our conservator, Roberta Seeley, is going to take you through the process.
Early testing to determine if murals were present involved taking paint samples from the walls and sending them to the Canadian Conservation Institute for cross-section analysis. After this testing came back inconclusive, several types of photographic analysis were attempted, including infrared analysis. Unfortunately, due to the high content of lead in the upper paint layers, these tests came back inconclusive as well. This is where I came in. What I began was a process of what we call window reveals. This involves carefully removing the upper layers of paint to reveal the original surface finish underneath. So, taking my trusty scalpel, I carefully peeled back the layers. In some areas, this was quite easy because the light exposure of the upper paint layers had degraded the paint enough so that it flaked off very easily. This process proved to be very efficient, and we did in fact ascertain that there were murals underneath. Due to the complex nature of this process, we hired an external conservation company to actually complete the reveal. Terry, Toronto Art Restoration Inc., was brought in, and a team of painting conservators worked to reveal the murals. They had started their process using the mechanical removal methods that I had started with. However, some of those tenacious paint layers underneath proved to be too difficult to remove mechanically and time-consuming based on the constraints of the project timeline. The conservation team from TARI tested a number of solvent combinations to determine which would be best to remove the upper paint layers safely without damaging the murals underneath. After removal of the upper paint layers, the mural underneath had been severely degraded due to time and activity within the cottage. In-painting was done to repair damaged portions of the mural. The mural was cleaned overall, and then a protective varnish layer was applied over top to protect the mural from future degradation due to light and pollutants within the cottage. After the reveal was completed by TARI, the murals that were found were more than we could ever have hoped for. In addition to being beautifully rendered, murals were present in two rooms rather than just the one that had been provided by Baird anecdotal evidence. They are here, and we hope they can be enjoyed and preserved for future generations.
We're very excited and proud to have been able to reveal another part of the McDougall Cottage history, and we hope that you'll take the opportunity to come to the cottage and see the murals in person.